Hello everyone, we're here today to continue with this course, and today I'm going to show you how to use some packages that are important in R in order to work in terms of organization and structure of databases. So the main packages that we're going to see are the function of deep layer, the tighter, and these are the functions for filtering, for arranging, to select and mutate variables. And we'll also see a part on how to group information and generate summaries by groups, and also functions like pivot to restructure for longer data sets, to restructure those data sets, and the join function to join data sets whenever information comes from two different data sets. The first function that we're going to see is this one. All of them have the name in English. I'm going to be shifting between Spanish and English. So the function filter allows to filter a subset of observations according to their values. This is an example, a data set that's called crop data. This is the yield data. And we're using a function to register the yield that's over 8 tons per hectare. So that's what filter is used for. And it can be combined with more arguments, with more criterions, and many other functions. So we're going to see a little bit more about this in the practice. So in general terms, the materials and the description of the functions and other exercise can be found in the link that you can see below. The other function that we are going to study is called arrange, and it changes to order the rows. So we can change the order of the rows and select what we want to have first and what's next. And in this case, we can do this with a yield column. And I'm using this function more here. It's called descending, and it can be used to invert. We can start with the lower values, and they're going to be kept on the top. But if we use this function called descending, the values are going to invert, and I'm going to have the higher values on top. The same thing applies with a column that have values that are equal. So I could have two different arguments so that the second column can be used to organize a second plane. If everything's the same, I could put in on so information. The other function that we have is called a select, that can be used to select a subset by using operation based on the names of the variables. So remember that we saw the filter function that helps us to filter the rows. The select function helps to filter or select the columns. So in this case, I have my crop data, and I'm going to select cultivar or sow and yield. It's very common to use this because many times the gross information has many columns that are not required. Another important way to use this function is this way. I'm using a comma, and I want to use this one and this one, but I can use it here, and I'm going to select this whole range from sowing up to yield, for example here. So I think this is also very useful so that I don't have to edit all the variables that I am going to use. This is a function called mutate that allows to transform the variables, and I can create new columns. For example, in this case, in yield, I have in tons per hectare, and I can create a column where I have the yield in kilograms per hectare. So I have a function available that can be very flexible. You can use any function that allows me to go back to other values. They can be used here to create a new column. And it's also very useful whenever I need to change the type of the column. So for example, in this case, I have the dates of harvest, and I have characters here, but these are dates. So I could use the date function in order to transform these into dates, which is the way in which R understands the dates. By doing this, I can combine two or more columns. So you can do anything with this function. It's going to be used very frequently.